Hey everyone, thank you for checking out the Creatively Curious podcast. This is Trevor Miles, he, him, his.
Dean Richards, he, him, his.
And today, we will be talking about the different levels of letting go.
Speaking of that, Trevor, what are you holding on to?
Dean, do you stockpile?
It makes me think of ammunition. What should I use my ammunition for?
Do you believe in yourself?
Should I believe in myself?
Do you have anyone in your corner?
Where's my corner?
What do your walls look like?
Are my walls too high?
What are your walls made of?
Why not just tear them down?
Do people deserve to see behind your walls?
Do I even know what's back there to show them?
How are you trying to discover who's inside you?
Do I even care about that person anymore?
That makes me think of how we can sometimes go through a very tough relationship. This relationship could be a workplace relationship, a career move. This could be a past love. This could be a friend that we lost. And you ask, do I even care about that person anymore? Why do we hold on? Why do we hold a piece of them in our hearts years and years later? Does that do us any service? You can't have your heart full or your brain full of trying to remember the pieces of the past. I'm guilty, everyone. Mr. Trevor is a lover. And I hold a special place in my heart for anyone from my past in the hopes that one day we'll rekindle. That's my truth. And that is tough to sit with. That has always been tough to sit with because some of those people, it's been over a decade since I've spoken to. Some of those people I will never speak to again because of how things ended up. I am trying to learn today to be okay with the apology I'll never get. And that is tough. And one thing I'm learning is ways that I need to show myself grace. And I'm sitting with that every day. If I can't apologize to myself or forgive myself, I can't expect that an apology from someone from the past could even feel okay or make me feel whole or make me feel good.
You know what, though? And I think that's all very interesting and absolutely spot on with some feelings that I've had in the past. I think another angle, just to put it out there, is when you reach that point of forgiveness and you do forgive someone, sometimes that person or that way of interacting with them or that situation still stays in your head and you don't forget it. So it's a weird balance between forgiving someone else, forgiving yourself, but understanding that some of that may still be in your head and how you move forward, not being able to forget about how that affected you. It's very hard.
And what I think is challenging is remembering that the situation, there is a way you can replay the situation and take the factual information from it, not the emotion. You can take it as a lesson learned. You don't have to take it as pain or something lost. I struggle with that. Take the factual pieces from whatever happened and use that as a lesson for the future. Don't walk into that same establishment. Don't put out the whole platter of yourself. Don't dive so far into the job without the job description. Wait a minute. What are my duties here in this moment, in this place? We don't have to necessarily let go of the past people, situations, but let's let go of the pain that was with that, or the frustration, or the anger. I am infamous for hanging on to comments that I wish I would have said in an argument. Now, that argument happened 5 years ago outside at the bus stop, but I didn't say anything. And I've been thinking about what I wanted to say. Should I ever see this individual again? Why? Renting that space in my head for this long, I need to let go of the frustration from that situation and take the lesson. You're not going to be talking crazy to me at the bus stop again, whoever. That's the lesson now. Stand up for yourself. Advocate. Because I know how it feels to hold on to that and not say something.
Yeah, how that phrase go, man? That's like the phrase drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It doesn't make
I like
sense.
that.
When I find myself in relationships with people where when I talk with them, I always revisit the same thing and we talk about stuff that happened in the past and we're never able to talk about new topics or like talk about current events or anything that hasn't already happened. Like, I think for me, that's an indicator of maybe this relationship needs to go because it's not growing. It's keeping us both mentally stagnant and chained to that point in time in our life, and we can't move on if we always talking about what was.
I definitely think about some friends who I still wish I could go send a message to, but I'm blocked on Facebook. I can't.
Wow.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate because I miss them. I'm thinking of them now. Um, we have history. You helped me out on that stage. Like we have we have the time in, but everybody cannot follow you on your entire journey. They just can't. They're not ready to move up the mountain at the pace that you are. Or you may be moving around the mountain, not up, and they're trying to climb up, or they want to kind of slide down a little bit. Everybody's navigating their mountain at a different speed. I can't judge. However, I got to keep moving on my mountain, though, you know?
I wonder, and I appreciate the conversation so far. From what I'm hearing, though, I keep getting the picture of all or nothing. Keep them or let them go. And I know that's not all there is. There can be levels to letting go of someone. So, what do you think about when you think of the levels of letting go of someone? Is there someone that you've kept, you just maybe changed the status of your relationship with them or decreased a certain amount of activity with them?
That's a beautiful question. There are a few friends, a few acting out partners from my past that I had to scale things back with. We all have had them, right, in our wheelhouse, the certain numbers who you go to for whatever acting out is for you. And I realized I didn't want to live that type of life anymore. I'm like, no, I want a serious relationship. We're not doing that booty call stuff, y'all. You're going to stop hitting me up at 11 p.m. at night, girl. Keep it real. So I had to just say, hey, you're cool. I actually rock with you, but I'm not on that no more. So can we be cool? Can we chat? Can I learn about what you write about? You're an author, right? Oh, you do music. Well, tell me more about that. Let's have actual discussion. I tried to do my best. This is, again, 2020. Corona really made me realize some things about people. I tried my best to maintain some of those friendships. So I like that you called out there are levels to letting go of a person. They don't have to be eliminated. However, a lot of times when you get into negotiating with yourself, if you should keep someone around or what capacity, you're already doing too much work, I feel. You're almost already doing a disservice to them and to yourself because you're willing to overextend in order to keep someone who may just not be for you. Now, if we're talking about a parent, right? If we're talking about a family member, there are some family members who it's like, all right, dang, you toxic, but you my aunt though, and I'm gonna see you at Thanksgiving. So how we gonna do this? I think I might call you twice a year, girl, and that's all you gonna get from me. Then that's what that is. I can see levels there. With a friendship, some friendships I can see giving it levels. Some I see cold turkey because it's a health thing at that point. It's a spiritual growth thing at that point. And sometimes you have to let them go for them to go figure some things out. You can't drag them along on your journey. That's how I feel.
What? That makes me wonder. Yes, you have to decide who belongs in your life and to what extent they belong in your life. But I think the action isn't all on the part of the individual. I think there is some obligation from that individual in some circumstances to give the other person a chance to like grow and to have that relationship grow. So if it's somebody who they're not treating you right, I think you kind of owe it to them to say, hey, to your point earlier, hey, I was moving in this way before. This is how I'm moving going forward. I would love for you to be a part of that movement forward. I'm not doing this to spite you. I'm doing this because it's what I need. Can we talk about how we can work together to maintain and grow this relationship? Because I don't want it to fall by the wayside. And I owe it to you to know where I'm coming from and not be blindsided and have an opportunity to grow in that direction if you so desire.
I love that. I love that. I'm sitting with that actually. I do think if you are going to cold turkey cut someone out or cut a situation out, do your due diligence, cover your bases, give the opportunity for the discussion to happen. Hey, I'm feeling like this. This is our history. This is where we are today. This is what I need for the future. I do think it's fair to give that person a kind of layout of what's going on in your brain. To just kind of cold turkey block or cut somebody, that's intense. However, I try to look at multiple sides to everything. There are some times that needs to happen. Some of my acting out partners from the past, no, you needed to be cold turkey cut. I don't have to discuss with you why I don't need you in my life. You're living the way you do. However, if it's somebody you care about, if it's somebody you actually see some potential in for future correspondence, and if it's somebody who doesn't even really mean that much harm, they're just not moving at a pace that doesn't work for you right now, I do like the thought of giving them the options, giving them here's the lay of the land, here's the state of the industry report for you, right? Give it to them, let them sit with that, let them have that. They got to come back correct. They must.
And when you do this, please, anyone, myself, yourself, whoever, I wish that they do it proactively rather than reactively. You never want to let things boil to the point where you're ready to explode, and then you deliver that message of where you are to somebody in an explosive manner because you're fed up at that point. That's not healthy. I've I've been working since I was 13, so I've had a lot of different jobs. And some jobs I loved, some jobs I liked, some jobs, they made ends meet. I have had experiences where I found myself, similar to you, going to work every day and feeling like, oh, this is taking a piece of my soul every time I come to this job. Every time I sit here and do this test that I do not like, I can do it well, but this is horrible. Dreading the experience. And so, being in working from home for a while now because of COVID has allowed me to learn about myself, but it's caused me to learn about myself in a way that's slightly different because of limited social interaction with people and an inability to go places because everything's closed a lot of the time. So I've had time to sit back and think about what really sparks my interest and what I need to feel like I'm committed to this job. I enjoy this job. I can see myself here for a while. And I think I have some more work to do in that regard. Once COVID is over, whatever that is, I'm not sure that I'll know exactly who I am. I'm not sure that I will have finished that journey of discovery. And something you helped me realize a couple months ago, and I don't even know if I told you, is that at some point in my life, well before the retirement age, typical retirement age is 65. Knowing me, I'll work till 75. But sometime before retirement, while I'm still active and relatively young, I would love the opportunity to take anywhere from 2 to 3 months and just not work. And just do a bunch of little things here and there to figure out who I am. Of course I will have saved up enough money to pay rent, pay food, pay for my family, all of that stuff. But just take time out to see who I am, what I want, and not be under the pressure of anybody's clock or anybody's direction to take certain action in a certain way. I look forward to that. Because after that journey, I think that there will be parts of myself that I will be able to dedicate towards letting go. We spoke about letting go of external things, jobs, people, situations, but I think you also have to look inward and decide what are parts of yourself that eventually you need to let go of because they are not who you are anymore. You spoke about this is the old Trevor, here's the new Trevor. Clearly, you were willing to let go of some parts of yourself. And I think I still have to do that. I haven't given myself full freedom to do that yet.
What you about to let go of?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is that I'm going to let go of, but I know that I feel like what I need to let go of is something that, because I know myself very well, I could see myself being bored with if I do day after day. What is that task or that job or that thing that eventually will lose its pizzazz and I'll be disinterested and feel like it's torture? There are some things that I've done within the last year and a half or so that have felt like torture eventually or feel like torture. Um, I need to figure that out because that makes no sense to live that life of torture if you don't have to. I'm very fortunate for the opportunities I have in my life, and I'm very fortunate to know myself the way I do. And there are a lot of people that don't have opportunities or they don't know themselves, so they're not actually able per se to stop and realize what is not for them. So I guess I'm kind of roundabout coming to an answer to your question. I think I've done a wonderful job so far of letting go of the quote unquote traditional path to success or traditional life trajectory of going to high school, going to college, working. I think I've done a pretty good job of being willing to let go of that and try some things and kind of step out on faith. But I think if I'm honest with myself, I have some more courageous steps to take because there are ways in which I have not let go that I'm just holding on to some like vestige of hope. I don't know why, but I am. I feel like I need to let go of that.
One thing I know I want to let go of is cyclic negative thoughts, beating myself up, um, condemning myself for past mistakes, dragging the outdated version of me into the present moment. That does not work. I'm learning to beat myself with a feather. Be kind to
That's
yourself.
I in
You
all jokes aside, that's
must. You
beautiful,
must.
beautiful phrase.
Um, you are moving forward, and that's beautiful. So continue to move forward and be gentle to yourself. The whole world is talking crazy to you and about you half the time. Why are you doing it? Why are you do
Right?
you trying to take a shower and you talking crazy to
How's
yourself?
anything ever going to change? Is everybody
Mm-hmm.
and you is doing
Mm-hmm.
it?
Mm-hmm.
What? No.
And that has been me my entire life because I'm constantly worried about my appearance, what's going to go on the stage, what's going to go on social media, if I'm a good lover, if I'm a good friend, if I'm actually a decent person. All of these things kind of go around and around. I love that you called it earlier black or white thinking. That's something that I definitely am also talking about in therapy. My all or nothing thinking. It's a little bit or everything that ever existed. It's not no in between, right? What's gray area? What's that?
And side note, thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a beautiful thing when people go to therapy in general, but
Mm-hmm.
especially are open about it. That's tremendous because it encourages other people. Because people look
Y'all.
at you or they look at me or they look at other people and think, oh, their life is not that bad because, again, social media, for instance, is a highlight reel. They see positive things on there. Or even if you're not on social media, like who's going to go around to the world declaring all the things that are going wrong in their life? Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, well, let me forgive me. Some people do because they do it for their own reasons, whatever they may be.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of people, I feel like, are not going to go out in day to day life telling everybody the negative things. And because of that, uh, everybody thinks that, oh, Trevor don't need therapy. He got it all together. He got it going on. So
Mm-mm.
I applaud you for sharing that, and I
Thank
commend
you.
you in your
Thank
journey.
you.
That's wonderful.
Let go of the stigma of going to therapy, especially my people of color, especially my men. Not enough of us are comfortable talking about our feelings. What? You cannot sit with that stuff alone. You are not a doctor in that way. And if you are a therapist, you need a therapist. Come on, keep it real.
When I'll use myself as an example, if I were the person making these decisions to let go of things external to myself, be it jobs, people, situations, whatever, or within myself, I control that action. When it comes to trauma, being let go of is traumatic. That makes me wonder and think back to who let go of me and what did that feel like? I think that's a question you don't think of often.
Have you been let go of, do you think?
I have to sit with that, actually. I have to sit with my own question. Usually when you ask a question, you have an answer, but I don't. I just thought of the question.
I know who let go of me and it hurt. So
Mm.
I will share another story. I had an ex who he said to me, Trevor, you're a free bird. And that sentence like destroyed me. And we had been in dark territory for some time, a lot of arguments back and forth, a lot of not seeing eye to eye. I was not the best partner back then. I didn't know how to love. I didn't know the correct way to show affection. I was very unappreciative in my early 20s, for sure I was. And he let me go. And it was such a vortex of confusion at that time because I could not believe that somebody could have the strength to just let me go because I thought I was just impeccable. I was 23 at the time, so I just thought, how could you? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go?
Who are you going to find better?
Who are you going to find better? Who's going to talk to you? Who's going to listen to you? Where are you going? And he said it with such confidence when he said it. You're a free bird. And I was just like, what? And I could not handle that. And I remember that was like the first time in my life I did not want to be here. I was devastated with myself after that point because I was like, wow, you let somebody take you to the point and I wanted to be here, Trev. And I had to sit with that. Did he take me to that point or what did I orchestrate to get to that point? Right? I obviously had to kick that soccer ball around a little bit too to get it where it was on the field. So what's going on? And it felt like crap for somebody to just be like, boom, bye. Who's you? New number, who this? Like, and I got that. And I was like, no, this is not acceptable. And I was very much calling myself out. The pathetic one, I'd see him outside downtown. Just talk to me real quick. No, Trevor, I got to go. And I'm still trying to get attention. Still trying to.
I'm sorry.
I was the one going to him. Like, please talk to me. Just talk to me real quick.
Oh, you were doing the pathetic actions as you call them.
I was. And I saw it as pathetic at the time.
You were chasing him.
I was. And that was pathetic of me. And I'm calling that for myself. I'm not saying people who do that it is. Because people have their motivations, like you said earlier, for what they do. I liked hearing you say that. I was. Because I knew there was no chance in what I was doing. I was getting attention. I was trying to rectify something that I caused. And that was not cool. It was not my finest hour that whole period. I learned so much though. That relationship, that being let go of, that taught me appreciation for what you have. Appreciate what you have while it's right in front of your face. When somebody says I love you, when somebody wants to hold you, when someone wants to lay with you, when somebody just wants to stare at you and talk.
And when someone wants to get away from you, get their own space.
And when somebody says, hey, can you please not text me for a little bit because I need to think? Don't keep texting them. Trevor, and these marathon texts. How many of the listeners got a marathon text from Mr. Trevor, bro? I used to
was going, boy.
I've done that. I've been gross in that way in my past. Like, I have to let all these feelings out. And regardless of your feelings, who cares? Dismiss your feelings. This is how I feel. You're gonna read this novel on your phone. You're gonna. And that was not cool. And so I got let go. And that sucked. And I've never been fired from a job. I've never been terminated from anything. I've never been booted from any projects. But I got broke up with that one time. And like that felt like, and I don't want to feel that ever again. And
I wonder how many people out there want to actively avoid feeling like that, so they become the perpetrators and they do things to either push others away or destroy the relationship before they can be the ones to be hurt. I wonder how many people out there do that, because I know people do it, and they sometimes may call it a defense mechanism. When, is it? Sure. But it can also be a destructive action to push someone away or actively seek and work to destroy the relationship. That's destructive for everybody involved. So it's a really tough situation when people do that. So how do you, and I'm not necessarily asking you, but I'm just like putting it out there. When you've been hurt like that and you've been treated in a way that you've never been treated before, or if you have been, it's very seldom. How do you balance things out and give yourself grace so that you don't become the person who then does that to others? How do you do that?
Boundaries.
Tell me more about that.
Boundaries all day. And it's really, really difficult when you're in your early 20s to know who you are and to know what you stand for and to know what you'll tolerate. But I encourage listeners of all ages to try and hold on to this. Set your boundaries and set them up front. You can't have some mystical rule book of how you operate and then tell somebody 3 months into knowing you. And then they're supposed to just magically know, oh, well, this is something you don't like. I'm sorry, I did not know that. Or in my case, like some jobs I've had, oh, we didn't know you were upset about XYZ. You looked at the contract and you kept moving forward. We have to speak up front. Set your boundaries. This is what I'm worth. This is my currency that I'm working with. My currency is my energy. Are you going to sap that or are you going to help foster my energy? You need to set that expectation up in the beginning. This is something I've not done in any of my relationships prior to this one. I did not set expectations clear. This is what I'm looking for at this job. I actually am looking for your job, Mr. CEO, but for today, I'll take this position. Be clear. Be clear what you want. I actually want an ongoing relationship with you, so I'd rather not hook up tonight. But let's go on a date. Be clear from the beginning.
It takes courage, man.
You got to. It's risky. They could walk away. They could say, no, you're not getting this job. They could say, I don't want to be with you. But
you can go to sleep at night knowing you maintain your standard of worth.
Your standard of worth. You did kudos to yourself. Pat yourself on the back because you avoided something that was not for you. This is how we avoid things in situations that are not for us. Set the expectations. When people know what they're getting into, they can move accordingly. We have to give people that option.
Yeah.
Don't rat it out.
You have to set that standard, but as you just said, you have to first understand your foundation.
Mm-hmm.
What do you care about? What's important to you? What are you looking for? I mean, you can't be ready to let go of people and let go of jobs and let go of situations if your foundation is made out of sticky tape and you always thought it was made out of paper because you never took a second to look at your foundation.
Period. Yeah, I really like what you said just now because it makes me think of earlier partners who I would eliminate from knowing me because they didn't fit my criteria. But I didn't know what I wanted. I wanted this cookie cutter copy idea of whatever perfect love is supposed to be. But that's not necessarily what was best for me because when I got that later in life, I was like, oh, you're boring. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't even what I really wanted. It was better on TV. Like, you have to really, as you said, sit down with yourself, understand what is my worth? What am I bringing to a relationship? How am I willing to help someone grow? What are the ways I could be helped? What are the ways I actually don't need assistance with this, but this is something that I would like to share? It's not about, a give and take in a relationship only. It's about, what do I want to share? What do I want to share? And what do I need them to be set up like in order to receive this? Period. Those are some of the keys of how you get to who you are and what your expectations and or boundaries can be. And it very much works in line with a job or with any type of situationship, I like to call them. And I had to bump my head so many times over this past decade to figure some of those things out. And some relationships went better than others because I implemented some of these rules and some were absolutely horrible. But I know so much now at 30. And so I'm going to take those lessons and, as we said earlier, though, I'm going to take those lessons, the factual information from the lessons, not the hurt, not the pain, leave that trauma back there. That's what the Rona times. We won't do that. We're in 2021, and we're resetting and refreshing our hearts and our minds. So my next relationship is going to be absolutely fantastic because I have so much to give that individual. My goodness, they're going to be tired of me in the best way. And that's going to be what's up.
And I'm glad to hear that. You know, I after today, after this podcast, I myself am to sit down and like really just take a hard look at, as you said, some of the things you said. What do I have to bring to the table? What am I giving? What kind of person has to be? What kind of person do I need to be able to receive what I'm giving? I'm going to do all of that. So I look very forward to leaving the space to go do that. So this is a great time for us to leave our listeners.
Beat yourself with a feather. Be gentle. Be kind to one another. Do not condemn the past you for your mistakes, because you were simply learning and you know better today, right? You know better now. So move better and put good into the world. That karma comes back around. When you do enough good things, it snowballs for real. So move forward accordingly. Yeah. And let go of the nonsense, girl. Come on, let go. Let go. We thank you all for spending time with us, for giving us your hearts and your minds. And we will see you or hear you, or you'll hear us on the next
What's
podcast.
going on?
Something's happening.
A lot.
They're going to hear us later.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
This has been a Trevor C. Media production. Thank you for listening. You can find more Trevor C. Media content on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, or wherever streaming services are available. Please keep following our journey.